you made, right? So at that point in time, you didn't have any information about...
What I just said, if you listen to my statement, I said I have some that I printed out on August the 16th, but I know I ran some searches prior to that.
Okay. When you say you ran searches...
But my computer was back in my home on July the 22nd, and you're saying I made that statement on July the 28th. So, yes, I could have ran searches after they had my computer.
Okay. So
and that's where you're getting at.
All right. I'm going to let
Correct?
you finish it.
Isn't that what you're getting at? You wanted to see the time frame?
My question was a little bit more specific and simple than that. You're talking about a search that you ran about the multiple Zenaida Gonzalez's. Are you saying here, and again, we're under oath, are you saying here that prior to the time you made this statement to the media, you made multiple searches for Zenaida Gonzalez?
Correct.
Okay, so that's what you're saying. That is your recollection.
I started on the 16th of July looking up Zenaida Gonzalez on MySpace and searches.
Okay, and there was 21 or something that came up?
There was 11 just in Orange County.
Well, the searches that you ran then would have been on July 16th, as you said. Those would have been shown up on the history for the desktop. Is that right?
Possibly.
Okay, and we could get the sites from that. Do you recall what the sites were?
No.
No recollection?
Probably MySpace. I think I went on MySpace first.
Well, when you're searching on MySpace, that's not a search engine. You're searching MySpace.
Well, I'm searching MySpace. It's a search engine.
Okay. Well, all right. Maybe I'm
And then
confusing.
I did a people search later on.
All right.
And I did my clerk, my Orange County clerk.
All right. All that's
I'd
later
done several,
on,
yes.
after the fact. Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't have a computer on July 17th.
And let me ask this. She talked about that earlier, that they turned him over. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. So going back, and we're going to move forward from this statement here. Going back then, as you sit here today, and this isn't what you were thinking then, this is what you're thinking now, are you saying that you think the police are being untruthful about whether they showed your daughter a photo of my client?
The question has been asked and answered now about 4 different times.
What I stated is I am not sure if they did or not.
Okay, and that's
even today. I am not sure.
You're not sure. Okay.
We're all stepping on each other. When I'm talking, let me talk. When he's asking a question.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm just going to backtrack here just a moment. You were telling me before about addresses that Casey had given you about the addresses about Zanny. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. The computer search. The computer search that you did, you pulled off the computer about all the 21 odd or different people.
I never said 21. You've said 21.
Whatever number it was that you said to me before that cast doubt as to whether the police were being honest with you, whatever number of searches and all the searches and the print-ups and the things you talked about, did you give those to Dominic Casey, the investigator?
No, I did not.
Okay, why not?
Because he wasn't working for me at that time.
Was there ever a time that he was working for you?
Not early on.
Okay, was there ever a time he was working for you?
Yes, he still is.
All right, and during the time he was working with you before the December time frame, during that time period when your granddaughter's missing, did you ever give those addresses to Dominic Casey, the Zenaida Gonzalez information?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Because I gave them to Jose Baez when I had them.
Okay. And is it your understanding that Jose Baez, do you know what he did with them?
I have no idea. And I know Dominic was working for him when I gave them to him.
Okay. What? Okay. Let me go ahead and I'm going to do a little, go through some of the timeline a little bit about around the June period. Okay, so we're going to focus on that right now. It's my understanding that around the first week of June of last year, you took a vacation. You had Kaylee most of that week.
That's correct.
Okay. Was there's some talk in some of the interviews about, and I would say interviews, I mean police interviews, that Casey had been telling Amy Hazinga that you and Mr. Anthony were splitting up and moving out, moving to Mount Dora, moving out of the house, and that Casey would be moving into the house with Amy.
I do not know what Casey told Amy Huizinga.
Well, is there any truth to that, though, that you and George were going to be moving up to Mount Dora or leaving the house somehow to Casey? Is there any accuracy or truth to that?
No.
Okay, so there came a point in time, though, later on where you did talk to Amy, later on.
The only time I ever talked to Amy was July the 15th.
Your July the 15th, and that's the day you actually found your daughter over, was it at Tony Lazzaro's apartment?
That's correct.
Okay.
Amy took me there.
Right. Now, during this, and I'm going to focus you in now, during the time after your birthday was June 5th, right?
Correct.
During that time period, was Casey saying during that time period there what the source of her income was? Did she ever mention it specifically at that point?
We didn't talk about her source of income during that time frame.
And did you ever come to know that both Kaylee and Casey were, in fact, staying over at Ricardo Morales' house?
Casey and Kaylee did not stay at Ricardo Morales' house on June 1st.
I'm not talking about June 1st.
All right, well, then what are you asking? You just asked me about that time frame. So.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, then go back.
No problem. Let's say June 7th, around that time period. Did you ever learn that Casey and Kaylee were, in fact, staying over at Ricardo's house?
I learned it, yes.
And you learned that later?
After the fact, yes.
That was something that was inconsistent from what your daughter was telling you she was doing with her daughter. Is that right?
On June 7th, I wasn't home. I had no idea.
Okay. Well,
If
was she
that
telling you?
She didn't tell me where she was at because I wasn't home.
Okay. Did she ever tell you, Mom, Kayla and I stayed over at Ricardo's house?
No.
And it's fair to say that would have been probably something you would have disapproved of because Kaylee really should have been home in her own bed.
I'd have to know the circumstances.
Okay. Can you think of a circumstance around the June time period where it would have been something you approved of, having Kaylee and Casey sleep over at Ricardo's house without you knowing about it?
I don't know what the circumstance would be.
Okay. So if, in fact, Kaylee and Casey were staying at Ricardo's house on June 7th...
It's not my decision where Casey stays. She's an adult and Kaylee's her daughter. It's not up to me to say where Kaylee stays.
Would that
to clarify that question.
Fine. Would that, in June 7th, would that be something you want to know about, though?
No, it's none of my business.
But did you ever hear from Casey or Kaylee during that time period that they had stayed over at Ricardo's house?
No, I stayed on the 7th of June. I was staying at my mom's house that night because my dad was very ill.
Okay. And your dad up in their nursing home?
Yes.
Okay. That's in Lake County, is my understanding. Is that right?
It's not relevant to this.
Well, it's in all the documents that it's up in Lake County. So I just want to understand. Hold on. I just want to understand.
My dad is irrelevant to this.
I'm not asking about your dad's condition or anything else.
No,
I just want to know, ma'am.
You know what? My parents don't need people going up there with cameras. So my point is, leave them out of it. I'm not going to answer any questions about my father or my mother.
Well, your mother did, in fact, speak with investigators, did she not?
To my knowledge,
Right.
You know, only that I've heard or seen, yes. But
Only that
I
you've
wasn't
heard-
there.
I understand that.
Okay,
You've heard,
I wasn't physically there.
well, you've read
I
the
haven't seen video things, and I haven't seen the depositions. I haven't read all of the discovery. It's very hard for me
I understand
to
that.
read stuff. You know, we just had Kaylee's memorial.
Let me
2
kind of
months
cut
ago.
through this because I'm not asking about all that. I really am not. I just want to
Well,
know.
you're asking me if I know for a fact. All I know is what I hear.
Okay. You've heard, and you
Yes.
have an understanding, that your mom was interviewed
Yes.
by the investigators.
Several times.
Okay. You also know and have an understanding that your daughter had taken money from your mother. Is that right?
Correct.
And when was that, and how much was that?
I believe there was a $27 or $47 something one time and $200 and some dollars one time.
And that she actually took money from your grandmother, from your mother, her grandmother, by writing a bad check. Is that your understanding?
Correct.
And it had something to do with the Publix and also Casey's birthday party, second birthday party. Is that right?
That was the same one.
Okay.
The Publix was Kaylee's second birthday
When
party.
did you become aware of that fact, that your mother had money taken from her by your daughter?
My mother told me.
When did she tell you?
Shortly thereafter, she found out about it. The same day she found out about it.
Now, did you ever confront Casey and ask why would it be that Casey, who you thought had a job, would be stealing money from your mother.
Yes, I did.
And what did Casey tell you?
It's irrelevant to the case.
No. What did Casey tell you?
So irrelevant to this case.
Ma'am, I believe it's relevant, and
No,
it
it's
isn't for you to.
irrelevant.
I'm sorry, respectfully, it's not for you to decide what is relevant and what isn't. What did Casey tell you
I
about
can't remember the exact words. It's irrelevant to this case.
Okay.